Alright, so it's been a terrible week for Emeru. From being assaulted at TwitchCon to making allegations against mizkif from assaulting her, blackmailing, and other not so good and nefarious things. I know I'm like the 200th YouTuber that is going over this drama, but someone needs to pay the bills before I use my explosive vest to blow up my 200 square foot apartment and everyone with it. So enough of me yapping, and let's get her side of the story.
Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, sexual assault, and threats of blackmail that Ms. Kiff has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. For the entirety of this year, I have attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all, and not talk about this issue, and just not make it a public thing. I always tried my best to keep this to myself. But like I said, I feel like it's gone to the point, which I'll explain later, that I feel like it just has to be done. And I have always believed in not condemning people or starting drama online. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be asking, why am I doing this and why now? And I would like to
Okay, everything that she put out there is alleged, so take it with a grain of salt. But I have my own personal gripes of the way she went about this. Because what in God's name did you mean that you didn't want this to be public or no one knowing about this? Know that I'm not a victim of any of the assault that she went through. And I don't know what she's been doing to, release those feelings. But making it a public matter so that everyone can have their own input on this is kind of a bad thing for her, because she'll go to Twitter and all these other places like YouTube and TikTok and people are talking about it. I'm not going to tell her what she should and shouldn't have done, but if this was me, I would have went to the police and show him all the evidence that she had and maybe get a restraining order against him. But alas, it's neither here nor there. Here's another clip.
Or what has happened to other people because of him to happen to other people. And I don't believe he will ever stop behaving the way he does. But regardless, yeah, like I said, one of the main reasons I decided to do this stream is to come out about all of this, because I can't hold on to it any longer, because it feels wrong to do so. And an honorable mention reason for why I'm doing this is that for a while, he has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with. They've informed me that he said that if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him. I'm sure he's probably listening now, and it's probably going to come as quite a shock to him that this information made its way back to me and that I've known for months. But if you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet. Okay.
Well, good golly oh my, I knew I had a reason to hate mizkif. I mean, years ago, I just hated him because of the way he looks. I mean, look at this. Would you like this man? But now I have an actual reason to hate him. That is such a scummy thing to do. Go behind your ex's back and see if any of them are talking shit about you, and if they were, you were gonna assault them? I mean, this is the definition of we don't speak ill will about this. Well, in this case, if you speak ill will about mizkif, you're gonna get crucified, I guess. One last thing before I show you the last clip. It's really good that she's coming out about this, because not a lot of people would. My condolences to Emeru. Now for the last clip. And it's about 3 minutes long, so you better... Hey, wake up. Wake up.
So yeah, we were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And when this was happening, we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying. And he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then suddenly he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants. And I screamed. Yeah. And when I screamed, he jumped off me like a cat, like. And instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying without checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him, and I was still afraid of causing trouble for other streamers around us, or like, you know, making things weird for viewers. I know that probably sounds crazy, but like I just felt this pressure, like I had to try to keep things together, if that makes sense. I felt like I'd cause trouble for so many other people if I ever said anything bad about him, or if I caused rifts in our friend group or streamer group. I tried to stay on good terms with him and hold everything in, and also I still cared about him a lot, and I still at that point had hope that things would get better and that, you know, he would improve. And he'd also always hammer into me how he never physically abused me because he never hit me, and he would coach me and tell me to tell people or other streamers who were asking about it because they were concerned. He would say, tell them that I never hit you. Make sure that they know that I never hit you. Around the same time, this was during OnlyFans 2, so I guess like December-ish. He would often message me in the middle of my streams and berate me for things like playing the same class as him in WoW because he thought it would make people think that I was better than him. And again, like I said earlier, I felt like I was stuck in a constant loop where I had to perform well to not be thrown away, but if I performed too well, I was going to be punished. And
Wow, just wow. You know, for the original script for this video inside of my head, I was being insensitive, like, oh, why didn't you tell him to stop? Or, you know, this is all your fault. But now that I'm watching over this, I'm thinking, geez, this is all mizkif's fault. He's the one that's supposed to be emotionally available for her. She allowed you to be in her house because she was crying. And what did you do? You took advantage of that. And it seems like he is overly possessive of Emiru, because what do you in Satan's ballsack think that you can't play the same character in a certain game because you think that she'll be better than you? A lot of people are better than you. Are you gonna make sure that they don't play the same game as well? But I'm not just a one-side person. I'll take both sides into consideration, and now here's mizkif's part.
Emmy posted a very provocative picture, one that she knew I would hate, and she posted it to make me upset. She admitted that she made me upset with it, and we got into a heated argument, and I broke up with her. We broke up for about a month, then got back together because we thought we can make it work. We went to get food at BJ's, a common place where we would get food, and then we went back to her house. We cuddled for about 30 minutes and started to kiss. She said that she was okay with this on her stream, and I started to advance to the next stage because I thought that's what she wanted. She yelped, and I immediately sprung up and was scared if I did anything wrong, or did wrong in general. I got scared and left the house. I apologize if that made Emmy uncomfortable for me not saying sorry, and I wish I said sorry back then. But we got back together soon afterwards. And during those last few months where we were fighting, we were still fighting, but it did feel like the relationship had good progress, and we were both agreed we need to talk about our future. Since it's been 3 years, we should see what we want, and Emmy had an idea to write down everything we wanted on paper. I'm going to let everyone know that what I'm about to say is very true. This is exactly what happened, and she cannot argue this. One day, after staying over Emiru's house, Emiru made me breakfast, and she wrote down everything she wanted. She wrote she wants me to move closer to her. She wrote that she wants me to marry her, and she wants kids with me in the next 5 years. And I just looked at this letter that I was staring in front of me, and I just handed her back the paper. She began to cry, and I told her, I'm sorry, I just can't do this anymore. I knew we were just beyond the point of toxicity in the relationship, that our trust had completely died, and that we had so many issues that I couldn't deal with it, and I was not mentally well. I walked away. I went to her door, and as I opened it, the last words I ever heard her say is, "Don't go. I love you."
Now, I would give mizkif the benefit of the doubt. At least he was honest that he tried to make a move on her. But you know, the entire woe is me victim card isn't gonna work now. He said that he had evidence and he showed it on stream, but it had no date, no timestamps, no nothing. And his other argument was that she abused her rabbits. I don't know about you guys, but I'm sensing some real David and Goliath energy over here, and I think David is winning. But I'm gonna wrap this up because I don't want this to be 20 minutes and I don't want to waste your time. So tell me in the comments, what do you think about this whole situation? Who's right? Who's wrong? Me, frankly, I couldn't give less of a shit. And subscribe before I run inside your house with my vest and blow you to smithereens.